All right, what's going on, y'all, and welcome to the first ever Wheel of Overrated. I got this wheel that I found online of NBA legends, and we're going to spin it, and I'm going to decide if that player is overrated, underrated, or properly rated. So that being said, let's get it started. Oh, that's an easy one off the bat. How was Dwight Howard left off the NBA 75 list? Absolutely underrated all time. My first ever favorite player in the NBA. Fun fact. Let's keep it going. I think KG is properly rated. Actually, scratch that. I think KG's career is properly rated. I think his peak is very underrated, though. I think prime, like 2004 MVP KG, was better than any version of Duncan we've ever seen, better than any version of Dirk, Karl Malone. Prime KG might be the best power forward we've ever seen. So I think his prime was actually underrated just because those T-Wolves teams never won in the playoffs. That's a tough one. I almost feel like the fact that after Ray retired, the NBA experienced this three-point boom. You could argue makes him both underrated and overrated, because if he played in this era, he'd be putting up ridiculous three-point volume and three-point numbers, but also his skill set we're so used to now. I think if anything, Ray Allen is probably underrated, because I still think people, like the younger generation of fans, don't know, prime Bucks Supersonics Ray Allen and how good that guy was. Hot start for underrated, huh? 3-0. One of my favorite players ever, historically. I think Jerry West is properly rated. You know what I mean? Like, you can't really argue for Jerry West to be top 10 because of the finals record. You know what I'm saying? And so I have him in that like 13 or 14 range. I think most people do too. So I'm going to say properly rated. Overrated. Overrated. The most overrated player in NBA history. There you have it. A diva, not a winning player. I got cooked by Bill Russell and almost, the majority of their matchups. Empty stats, bad teammate. Think about it this way. This is what I always tell people about Wilt. You can name all these crazy stats and crazy games Wilt had in the regular season. The 100-point game, the 50-rebound game, averaging 50. Why didn't Wilt ever average 50 in the playoffs? Why didn't he have a 100-point game in the playoffs? It's because he wasn't a winning player, and he got locked up by better teams. Underrated. People try to tear down Bill Russell because of this. They look at his points per game and they're just basically like, man, this guy couldn't do any. Stop it, dude. There's a reason the man has 11 rings. I don't even care about the era. Vinsanity. I love Vince Carter, but the man's a little overrated. I got to admit it. Never really had the playoff success. Those Nets teams made the finals before he got there in, I believe, 2005. Obviously, he was one of the first superstars to have a super public, dispute, trade demand when he was with the Raptors. Electric player. Electric. And I think he would have been especially better in today's era with the extra spacing and if he could have gotten up more threes. Look, I'm a LeBron guy. Y'all know that too. I think LeBron's the GOAT. Would I be insane to say that both him and Jordan are slightly overrated? Is that an insane take? Both guys are probably going to be passed by someone else at some point in the next 25 to 50 years of the NBA. Man, growing up, I loved Oscar, but I think he's a little overrated. You know, the counting stats are, of course, absurd. He was Russ before Russ, and he actually had more playoff success than Russ, but that didn't come until he teamed up with Kareem on the Bucks. He also, people don't talk about this, but he also forced his way out of Cincinnati when they hired Bob Cousy as like coach GM, and him and Cousy didn't really see eye to eye, so Oscar kind of forced his way out. Magic Johnson has become underrated because of how quick this new generation has been to anoint Steph as the greatest point guard ever. He's not. Magic's the greatest point guard ever, man. He's got more titles than Steph. He's got more MVPs than Steph. He was the better all-around player than Steph. Magic Johnson was like the biggest star, dude, too. That's what I don't think younger fans understand. He's not better than Larry Bird, though. Steph Curry. I have Steph as a top 10 player of all time. I have him ahead of Kobe. And so I think he's properly rated, but as I said with Magic, I think because some fans... Okay, I'll just say to the fans that think Steph's the greatest point guard ever, that is overrating Steph. If he gets one more title, we can have that conversation. Now, one thing I definitely don't think Steph gets enough credit for is his body, how much stronger he's gotten and how good of shape he's always in. And I'm also just a big proponent of being as healthy as you can, which is why I'm excited to be working with the sponsor of today's video, Transparent Labs. Transparent Labs is a clean, natural sports nutrition brand built around clinically dosed, fully transparent supplements. So actually, just about a year ago, when I first went full-time as a content creator, I started taking my health a lot more seriously. I started training MMA, I started lifting more, and a huge part of my daily routine are supplements, specifically making sure I get enough protein in, which is why I love these Protein Plus bars from Transparent Labs. That's just good. So whether you're looking to improve your performance as an athlete, take your fitness to the next level, or just generally optimize your health and wellness, I would check out Transparent Labs. And right now until December 3rd, they're having their biggest sale of the year, where you can get 25% off all supplements, and they'll throw in a free bundle for orders over $149. These are incredible. Would definitely check out the protein bars. I would also check out the whey protein. Now let's get back to the video. You already know. If you've watched me for any amount of time, you know I think Larry Bird is the third greatest to ever do it. Underrated. The fact that some people have him like outside of their top 7 blows my mind. Steve Nash is underrated because people think he stole those 2 MVPs from Kobe? Steve Nash is one of the 5 most talented offensive players to ever play the sport. Like I said with LeBron, man, I think Jordan is slightly overrated. One, because I think LeBron's the GOAT. 2, because Jordan is almost this like mythical creature in a fairy tale. The way, you know, legends talk about him on podcasts today. Like, he was a human, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Amazing player. Again, I have him second all time. But he's not the GOAT, and that makes him overrated. All right, let's get one more. Final spin of the Wheel of Overrated. Russell Westbrook. Wow, that is poetic. If you've ever watched my stuff and follow my channel. Probably the second most overrated player of all time after Wilt. Other than like D Rose and Joel Embiid, whose careers got cut short from injuries, Russ He's my lowest ranked MVP of all time. I have him in the 90s. And honestly, I think that's even being nice. All right, man, there you have it. The first ever Wheel of Overrated. I'm sure this is going to spark some serious debates in the comments. So let me know what you guys agree or disagree with the most. And yeah, if you like this video, you'll probably like this one too. Appreciate y'all watching.